areas. But yeah, very worrying. Let's just have a look at this Huw Edwards thing. So in the middle of everything, it's come up about Huw Edwards. Let's see. Let's find. It's been. How can I put? You know, sometimes you get slow news days. Today's not been one of those, has it? Here we go. Oh, making indecent images of children. That's even worse, isn't it? So Huw Edwards, so this is literal breaking news. Huw Edwards charged with making indecent images of children. Getting this, what I mean, there he is with his daffodil and his dicky bow, like Mr. Blood Wouldn't Melt. Look at his eyes, though. Do you know, I always have this thing, these people with these sort of one eye looks different from the other. They've got something wrong with them in their brain, I think. So former BBC newsreader Huw Edwards, who got a pay rise, even though he was already, you know, not on the TV because of the scandal that broke around him. He's been charged with 3 counts of making indecent images of children. So 62, yeah, he resigned from the BBC in April after he was accused of paying a teenager thousands of pounds for sexually explicit pictures. And of course, that teenager got a load of stick, you know, and his parents, his mother, they complained to the BBC and nothing was done. And in the end, she went to the police because she'd seen Huw Edwards at an awards ceremony as if nothing had happened, and she realised that the BBC had not taken their complaint seriously. So that's why she went to the police. I did quite a few videos about that. And then the teenager got a load of stick from, you know, people like Dan Wootton, and people who, you know, say, oh, he's just after money and blah, 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 blah. And of course, Huw Edwards, because he was this shining light, you know, I always feel a bit sorry for the BBC in a way, because they can't show the footage of the Queen's funeral because he commentated on it. So even more so, now they'll be bloody chucking that footage of the Queen's funeral in the bin or voice over in it with somebody else. Though I think they'll be struggling to find somebody who's not, you know, what is it with all these presenters, etc. It doesn't matter whether it's BBC, ITV, you've got Philip Schofield, but you feel like it's sort of endemic in that society, don't you? In that, you know, is it endemic in that industry? Because it's just one after another, isn't it? Since Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, you know, all the people that were famous, and, you know, it turns out, do you see what I feel like? You know, where does it end? And has it ended, or is it endemic in this, in the BBC, and not only the BBC, but maybe just in that industry, because it's over on ITV as well. Now we've got the Strictly Come Dancing scandal. The BBC is going to collapse. I think it will collapse because people aren't even watching it now because they're so sick of it, because they don't believe a word the BBC say half the time. They don't want to pay their TV license because it's too extortionate for the bilge that they come out with. They don't come out with quality stuff like they used to. Everything's sort of, you know, people don't watch TV like they used to, full stop, but also people have woken up a little bit. You know, we might moan about society now, but people are so much more aware now than they were years ago when they just watched the BBC or ITV and believe everything that they were told. You know, people do make their own research now, which is a good thing, but it's not a good thing for the BBC, of course. Anyway, so he was the BBC's highest earning newsreader at the time he resigned. And police have said his alleged offences took place between December 2020 and April 22 and relate to images shared in a WhatsApp chat. You know, this is the other thing that surprises me about these idiots. You know, he's putting it in a WhatsApp chat. Who is he sending it to? Probably a policeman or something. It's the police normally, isn't it, that send each other horrible WhatsApp chats. He's probably sending it to Wayne Cousins or something. So he was arrested on the 8th of November 2023, and he was charged on Wednesday the 26th of June. So hang on. So he was arrested on the 8th of November last year, and he was charged on Wednesday the 26th of June. I take it they mean this year, over a month ago. So this is only just, you know, are they releasing this news right in the middle of this Southport thing to try and bury it, probably, so it doesn't attract so much attention? They've probably been saying, oh, wait till there's a really big news story out and then release it and people won't notice. Honestly, I swear they do that sort of thing. He will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on Wednesday, the 31st of July. So that's this Wednesday. So it comes after Edwards was paid between $475,000 and $479,999 in the 2023-24 financial year, making him the broadcaster's third highest paid presenter overall. So says this breaking news story is being updated. I just want to see, oh my God, just looking at him now, you just think, God. Oh, and they said he'd not been feeling himself lately. His wife stuck up for him, came out and stuck up for him, said he'd not been himself lately, he'd been a bit depressed and everyone should leave him alone. Poor Huw. Oh, poor Huw. Same with Philip Schofield, using, you know, other people's mental health as a reason. You know, saying he knows how Carolyn Flack felt. Disgusting. That's the worst thing of all. Do you know, you've done something wrong, just own up to it. Don't try and make people think there's anything, you know, anything wrong with you or whatever. There is something wrong with you. But, you know, like trying to play for people's sympathy. Wonder what his wife thinks now. Is she still sticking by him? Well, I'll tell you what, Rolf Harris's wife stuck by him right until the end. You know, sometimes these women, honest to God, I wonder what is wrong with them, because they will stick up for these horrible men no matter what they do. It just makes me angry, you know, because they're complicit in it. They're complicit in it by not condemning it. Anyway, I'm just having a look for the BBC website, see if they're saying anything about it. Yeah, let's have a look at their what they've got to say. So 13 minutes ago, they've released the same headline. Huw Edwards charged with making indecent images of children. 3 counts. Yeah, it's just the same. So he was arrested last November. We never heard about that, did we? Charged last month, and he's due to appear in court on Wednesday. Honest to God, I feel 100% that this has just been released in the middle of all this Southport thing, because they know that everybody will be in the Southport thing and it won't attract as much attention as it might normally. Oh, sorry, I never changed it over. There he is. Huw Edwards, holier than thou, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Perfect marriage, Mr. Perfect everything, Mr. Religious. You know, he's another man of God, or said he was a man of God, but obviously not really. So, you know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Gosh. Dear me. Do you know what? It's just it makes you speechless, doesn't it? Is it, you know, what do you think women do that? You know, is it just they can't face it? Maybe they just can't face the fact that their husband is a child lover, and that, you know, maybe they just can't believe it. Maybe he's such a good actor that they genuinely don't believe it until they see the proof of it. You know, people don't get charged. Huw Edwards will not have been charged by unless it's true. You know, it just won't have been, will it? It's hard enough to charge people, famous people. You know, the police aren't going to do that unless they're 100% certain that he has done it. But it's disgusting, isn't it? 5 kids, Pauline. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, David, dump the BBC and watch me instead. Well, I bet the BBC haven't mentioned about this yoga retreat thing, you know, on not yoga retreat, on this Taylor Swift workshop. Things you do on social media, news does go more quickly than it does on mainstream media. So what's that Maria's saying? We've just had one arrested for the same in Australia. Bloke is the heir of a fish empire. Yeah, well, this is it. The thing is, unfortunately, you know, joking apart, and it's, of course, it is serious. George, shut up. It's oh gosh. Anyway, never mind. Of course, Huw Edwards is not a black guy. Funny enough, he's not a black guy, and he's not an immigrant. Strange that, isn't it? Oh my God. Anyway, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. So what we have to remember is child lovers. They're in every walk of life. And, you know, the higher the walk of life they're in, the fact that they're a middle-aged white man, because nobody ever, you know, thinks that they'll do anything wrong, because, you know, fools out there think that it's all immigrants who do bad things, or, you know, people of colour, not people like Huw Edwards, respectable men, of course not. Oh no, they wouldn't ever do anything wrong. It's in all walks of life. You know, a twonk is a twonk, whatever colour they are, whatever religion they are, wherever they came from, doesn't matter. Some people are just wired wrong. You know, it's not, you're not born like, it's not a sort of a thing where, you know, oh, well, if you're sort of royal family, you couldn't be a child lover, or if you're, you know, it's not in your blood, like, you know, because you're white or because you're middle-aged, middle-class man, you can't be any of those horrible things. Of course you can. There's horrible people everywhere, unfortunately. But, of course, the thing is, there's nice people everywhere in all walks of life, all colours, all shapes, all denominations, all, you know, rich people, poor people, or whatever, nice people too. And so that's the important thing to remember, because when we're watching the news and that, and we do see some awful things, don't we? And, you know, being a sort of true crime channel, if you like, you know, we concentrate on a lot of negativity sometimes, and it does get you down. But I think you have to remember that it's because these days we get to hear about everything that goes on all over the world. You know, it's not like more people are nice than aren't nice. But it's just, unfortunately, you never really get to hear about that. You get to hear about all the twonks, don't you? So, you know, there you go. Exactly. Prince Andrew, he's a prime example, isn't he? To be honest, I count Prince Charles. You know, Prince Charles was 30-something and Diana was barely 18, 19. You know, that's the history of the royal family and those kind of backgrounds. You know, Princess Diana was just a broodmare to have children. She wasn't thought of as a woman or a person in her own right at that time. I mean, it was a different age then. You know, and he was already in love with somebody else, and he married a young teenage girl. But anyway, we won't get started on that. But it's in all walks of life. All walks of life. Doesn't matter how rich someone is. It don't matter how poor someone is. Doesn't matter if it's Mr. White, middle class, you know, Huw Edwards, who, you know, looks so pompous, such a pompous, perfect Huw, you know, the perfect Huw Edwards. Could be anybody. Could be anybody. Yeah, Lord Mountbatten, I mean, he was terrible, wasn't he? I mean, don't they say, I need to do a video about that one day, but of course I don't know if it's true or not, but there was boys on that boat when he got blown up. Wasn't there a boy on the boat when he got blown up that they think might have been, you know, might have been something to do with child loving? Don't know. So one of those rumours. I don't know if it's a rumour or true. Yeah, there were 2 boys on there, Pauline. That's right. You know, so it's endemic throughout society, but it's important to remember that there's lots of good people as well throughout society. So it's not